Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. There's a big competition starting today and it revolves around many content creators, and it's the faction games of 2023. If you guys don't know what that is, just stay tuned. I'll explain everything. I am part of one of the 3 teams competing in this one, and don't worry, it won't have any legendaries in it. It's gonna be all about the epic champions and how we, the content creators, can use those champions to compete with each other and beat specific parts of the game. So let's get this video started and get it out of the way. What are the faction games? So we all know there's 15 factions in the game. There are 3 different teams currently, and Deadwood Jedi is the one hosting this one, the same way he hosted it last year. This one's the 2023 one. 2022 was won actually by the team I was in. Me, Ivy Lee, and Smiley were part of the CSI team, and we won the 2022 games. For this year, there's many other creators that you might know, but some of them are brand new in this kind of competition, like Safira. I believe it's the first time he competes with anyone for this kind of competition. And we have Senta, Victor Test, and then the usual suspects you've seen before: YST, Scratch, Nubbraids, myself, MTG Jedi, and Odd One Gaming. Okay, all of these creators will be fighting against each other, but I am part of the OB1 team. And what that team is you can see it right here on the website. These are the 3 teams. The Odd Brew Jedi team. It's coldbrew, MTG Jedi, Odd One Gaming, and then we have the 2 Cell, Celts, 1 Roman, it's Scratch, Nubbraids, and Safira. And then we have Paella, Chorizo, and Chips is Victor Test, Senda, and YST. Okay, you see the faction flags on top of each creator's names. That was chosen after a snake draft. That's what they call it. A snake draft is when you slowly one team chooses a faction, then another team chooses a faction, then another one, and that's how it went. We had a stream last night, last night for my time, where Deadwood Jedi hosted this one. There's a schedule right here for everyone to follow, and the first competition starts tomorrow, being the dragon. All right, the dragon dungeon, and I'll actually be competing tomorrow for that one. So what will I be doing tomorrow? So I managed to choose Dark Elves for my team, and the Dark Elves will be the one I'll be handling. I'll be choosing epic champions from the Dark Elves faction for the arena and the dragon. That's the 2 places I'll be competing. Everybody else has other places that they'll be competing, such as the Hydra Ice Golem for MTG, and Odd One for Spider and Fire Knight, with the Dwarves, and MTG with the Sacred Order. You might think some of these factions are good in one place and one in another. We tried to get the best mix possible. Of course, we couldn't get the best factions we wanted for each area, but that's how the snake draft goes. One team chose something, then the other one, then the other one. So there was a split between which team picked one good faction than the other one, and there were some choices that were surprising, such as Nubbraids picking up Sylvan Watchers. I'll be surprised with that one, because me personally, I have like 4 or 5 epics from the Sylvan Watchers, and the Sylvan Watchers themselves barely have any epics to compete. So let's get back to my own team, the Dark Elves, and the competition is starting on tomorrow. I'll give you guys my thoughts on how this will go in terms of what I have available. So Dark Elves, if we go right here, there's a ton of legendaries, but we are not allowed to use a single one, no question about it. But we can use any of the epics and below. Okay, so no legendaries allowed. You can use rares if you want to, uncommons or commons. These don't really have any value for this specific faction, but rares, we all know some very strong rares in the Dark Elves, such as Painkeeper, Paragon, if I am tempted to use one, and then Cold Heart. Right, the Cold Heart will be something I'll probably use in the dragon, is what I was thinking, and maybe even Painkeeper for the reset of cooldowns. That might be interesting and useful for the teams. After that, there's so many choices for me specifically to use all of these heroes on, and I was thinking, like, a brainstorm in the comments. Let me know what are your thoughts on some of these champions. I'll name it right out from the start that Dark Hill will be an MVP for the dragon. He is already an MVP in many teams, featuring Dark Hill in the dragon 25, by the way, is where we will be competing. But the problem with Dark Hill for that specific one is that he is bad affinity, so he is magic versus force, so there will be some weak hits, and we'll be able to do 3 runs, and the best out of 3 will be the run that counts for us, and the fastest team gets the gold medal for that specific one, gets 5 points, and then after there, everything is done, the points will be tallied up, and whoever wins gets the trophy, right? That's how it goes. Dark Elf will be the MVP, I believe, because of the poison activation. We have decreased attack, also increased duration of all debuffs if you manage to land a crit. And then we can land 3 poison debuffs and a poison sensitivity. So this is the huge skill that can be make or break for the fast runs, I believe. Because if you get a weak hit on this one or a resist at 3%, it's 3 runs. Like, I can't record my best run and send that. That's not how it's gonna work. So it has to be live. I'll do the run live, and we'll see how that goes. So if this lands a weak hit all 3 times, which is very possible, then I'll definitely be in a very bad position to compete. But it's part of the competition. Others might have the same problem as well. I haven't even checked what the others will be doing. We'll do that in the last part of the video. But Dark Elf, I believe, will be huge for Arena. I think Spider also can be very useful. He does have a decreased defense and a weaken that can help drop in some damage at the start of the run. The weaken is the lower version, it's not the stronger version, but it is pretty strong in there. It does have a 5-turn cooldown, so that can be impactful in terms of the wave number 2. But he also has a 25% speed boost in all dungeons for the team. So that's going to be huge in giving me about 25 speed on average on my heroes. So that's going to be cool in terms of using this one as the leader. Then he also has a decreased attack and a chance to remove buffs from targets. So this is basically what I'm going to be using him for, and the aura. And then if we go about looking at other possible champions I can use, Durandal, I've heard very good things about this champion. I do have him. I've heard this A2 can really hit hard. He is force affinity, so there's no issue with the affinity. He can ignore defense, so this might be the reason that I'll be able to nuke down waves. So I might depend on this champion to help me clear through and push to round 2 and then round 3 of the dungeon, all right, and get to the boss. And that's where the poisons will come into play. Poisons are really important for the dragon portion, not so much for the waves, especially if you want a fast run. So having a lot of damage will depend on this guy, but it is one skill. It's a 3-turn cooldown. He does have a crit rate in all battles. I was thinking about that one. Rian is useful, but probably going to be used something for Arena. Maybe I'll consider her for Arena. Removes buffs and can also apply a weaken debuff. Then we have other champions that I thought of, like Luria. Very strong A2 also that can apply a freeze. Problem with the freeze, all right, it's that it lowers the damage that the targets take, and also this is a 4-turn cooldown, which can be quite long. Also has a single target attack. I can think of that maybe as something that I can use. We have stuff like Crimson Helm for revive and death and increased defense. That might be used something for Arena. Crackhearth, I saw this champion but didn't see anything in his kit. Then we have, I believe, Lua. I've used her in the past for huge single target damage burst. The problem is, I don't see, even her A2 is not that strong. I don't see using her over maybe Luria or Durandal. Maybe I'll use both of those and see how that goes. I think Coldheart will be big in terms of both wave damage with her A2 and then boss damage with her A3. So I don't see myself not using a Coldheart. What I might skip though is what I've mentioned at the start. Maybe Painkeeper doesn't have a place in there since it's only a 1-turn cooldown reduction. So it might not be as strong as I thought. And then following up for other champions, Sylar can be pretty big here for turn meter control, both for the arena fights and also for the first 2 rounds of the dragon. She is void affinity, so pretty strong in there. The other 2 skills are not that strong. The aura doesn't help. Madame Series can be very useful for the arena part, but I think she won't be that useful for the dragon part, especially since I have other options such as Spider. Right, Spider is very big and I'll already have decreased attack both from the Spider and also from Dark Elf if I want to. So these are my choices so far. I'm not sure of any other champions that you guys might think are worthy of me picking them. I don't know what the others will also be picking, so let's go and have a look at the competition to try and think and brainstorm a little bit on what the other dragon teams will be. So dragon, it's gonna be Saphira with the Night Rev, and he's gonna also do Hydra, and then dragon will be Senda with Lizardman, right? I think Senda had some issues with the schedule, so they picked Lizardman because it would help him with one of the events, and then the other one he couldn't compete. I'm not sure which one of the two that meant, but either way, I think the biggest threat is Night Rev. Night Rev with Saphira. We all know Saphira, big brain, so he might think of some really cool team to beat down the dragon. How will that go? You really need to apply poisons to get the dragon down very fast, especially on 25. There's no way around that. Can't really burst it down. Even with the cold heart that I've mentioned at the start, it's only going to be like a 10% burst. Boom. That's it. Because she does enemy max HP. But Night Rev, if we have a look, the competition, okay? What kind of poisoners do they have that are not legendary? We all know the legendaries that have the poisons. From here, there is a lot of damage potential. Single target damage coming in from Faceless and Whisper. Those two can do a ton of damage. Kitus as well might be able to, if you do like a strategy where you drop down the health and then this guy bursts down, he can really push through the waves. There's also Thylesia that can apply decreased defense, guaranteed basically. Force affinity, and you just give her accuracy, and then she can also place a hex, I believe. 50% chance of that can be useful. And then in terms of poisons, I mean, Renegade can be very good for resetting cooldowns if you wanna get the team going. But in terms of poisons, trying to think here which one can be useful. I think Pestilence has an HP burn, leech, increased accuracy, increased crit damage. That's okay. Necro Hunter, Pitiless One. I'm just trying to think where the poisons will come into play. Or maybe we'll have a surprise where no poisons will play a role here in this team, and then it's just straight up burst with decreased defense and weaken. There's some poisons here with Aishma. Weaken, but I think, yeah, the chance here to land the poisons is quite low, so won't be that impactful. Sinesha doesn't have poisons. Doom Priest, no. Sepulcher won't be used. Rector Drath will be very slow. Then we have a look at Lady Aresh. Increased attack, increased crit damage. That can be big for damage potential from this one. Can also fill Terminator. Yeah, she might have a lot of damage, Lady Aresh. I've never tested her myself. Deathless also can do significant amount of damage based on the number of dead allies. Bergoth is just like a Vogoth basically, and then Franox has no. It's just gonna be all about big damage. All right, that's how I think he's gonna give the best damage that he can to everybody. Maybe like a toxic set, and then after that, I can't see any champion that can do like the poison damage that Dark Elf can do, plus the activation, by the way. So having that in mind, I think I am the favorite for beating the Dark Elves. It's just my honest opinion. You can't say that Dark Elf will not be the MVP for this one, at least for my faction. But I'm very curious on what the other creators might think, because this is not won before the actual fight is done. So it's gonna be very interesting, and I can't wait to see everybody compete with each other. Here, Venomage is very big in terms of the heal reduction, poisons that he can apply, and also the activation of poison. So Venomage can definitely compete for the dragon. There's Aox as well. So I think Lizardman is underrated in that sense, but very heavy in the poisons compared to, let's say, the Night Rev. And even if you take Dark Elf out of the equation, even the epics and lower for the Dark Elf. So It's going to be very interesting competition. I think the dragon is the least interesting one out of all the fights, because if you think about it, what do you want to see the epics compete for? You want to see them in the places where everybody's struggling. You want to see the epics do best in stuff like the Fire Knight. I would say Hydra, because people will be competing in Hydra hard, I believe. And you want to see them Fire Knight, Hydra, and then probably Arena. Arena is also going to be fun because, well, you're used to looking at legendaries, and soon we'll have the mythical. So Arena, I think, and Fire Knight will be the most fun, plus the Hydra. So these three places: Ice Golem, Spider, Dragon. I don't think players will be so excited to watch those, although they'll be interested to see if any big teams come out with something very unique. All right, so that's it, guys, for today's video. Stay tuned, check out the website to see the schedule on your own. The time zones there at UTC time for myself, that's 8 p.m. so that's pretty cool. Regardless, 8 p.m. for my time, but it's 5 p.m. UTC. Depends on your schedule. We try to make it so that everybody from all these different countries can stay on and play these, because it's going to be a live show over on YouTube, and then dedicated videos will also be posted after the fact. So this was the video for the Faction Wars, the Faction Games 2023. Thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.